Hello, everyone. We are in Balmora. This is a Redoran quest. SeAdRaKe told me that a Thalu noble, Andres Nerano, has been slandering House Redoran. I must find Andres Nerano in Balmora, challenge him to withdraw his statements.
Is there a visitor and an outlander, too? What brings you to Nerano Manor?
Slander.
Slander. I told the truth about Bulvin Venom. I guess you Redorans are too dumb to know what the truth is. If you want a duel over this, you got one. All right, we'll duel right here, right now. When you're ready. You fight pretty well for a Redoran. I take back what I said about Bulvin Venom.
Oh. That is not what I wanted to do. Okay, I'm just gonna let him hit me, and then not fire an arrow. Because Redoran didn't want me to actually murder the guy. A retraction is fine. Although, whatever he said about Bulvin Venom is probably true. Alright, we're keeping our weapon meticulously
Go ahead,
sheathed.
Outlander. A visitor and an outlander to slander. I told the truth. All right, we'll duel right here, right now. When you're ready.
Oh my god. Okay. There's not much I can do about that.
You'll bring me good fortune, Outlander. How have you silenced Andres Nerano's slanders? You have defeated Andres Nerano in a duel and defended the honor of your house.
I wish for you to take this armor and continue to serve the house well. Fine work.
You have an excellent reputation, but you do not meet our requirements.
Ah.
House Redoran honors strength and endurance. We value all the skills of war, but especially the arts of long blade, spear, blocking, marksmanship, and athletics. Redorans must know how to use and repair heavy and medium armor. Only when armed with these skills can we perform our inherited duties as the warriors and defenders of the Dunmer.
Okay, my endurance and strength are good. Oh, that's wrong. Athletics? Oh, it's probably right. Okay, so the only one that I have up is armor, I would imagine. Alright, I'm gonna see if he can trade me in anything.
I am SeAdRaKe. What's your rank? No, sorry. Later, perhaps, when you're higher rank, but not now.
Okay. I'm gonna see if the other Redoran lady can train me.
I like what I see. I don't have any more duties for you. What brings you here?
Alright, I'm not sure where the trainers are, but I'm gonna go to the Fighters Guild and probably pick up either athletics or mace? Something like that. We'll figure it out. So, there is something weird. Caius keeps saying he's going, and as far as I can tell, he's, like, here until the end of the game. But alright. While I'm at it, let's see if he
I'll
can
be
train
gone
me.
soon.
There are some blades trainers around here. Let me see if, one of them is what is it? 9 toes? I don't remember. See if anything he has to offer. Here's what I need. Yeah, 9 toes. I believe he is a blades trainer. Let's see if he has anything I need.
So much to remember. So much to remember.
Okay, athletics is good. Huh. Dreamed that a tall figure with a gold mask spoke to you, but you understood not a word. He smiled and seemed pleasant, but when he reached out to touch you, it terrified you, and you tried to escape, but you couldn't move. You tried to cry out, but you couldn't make a sound. The figure kept smiling and talking, but you felt sure he was trying to cast some sort of spell on you. When you woke, you couldn't recall how the dream ended. In your dreams, a tall figure in a golden mask spoke to you. Lord Nerevar Induril Hyrisdania, long forgotten, forged anew. 3 belied you, 3 betrayed you, 1 you betrayed was 3 times true. Lord Vorin, Dagoth steadfast liegeman, faithful friend, bids you come and climb Red Mountain. Beneath Red Mountain once again break your bonds, shed cursed skin, and purge the Unwa from Morrowind.
You'll bring me good fortune, Outlander. How? I am SeAdRaKe. Congratulations. You have earned the rank of House Cousin in House Redoran. I believe there are smugglers operating near the coast in the cave of Shurenbal. Shurenbal is a cave southwest of Gnar Mok. I'll mark this town on your map. I have heard that the smugglers are led by a Dunmer named Darader and the Red Guard Engine. Kill the leaders and report back to me. I believe the smugglers have a local contact somewhere here in Aldrun. It may be worth your time to investigate here as well.
Okay. Kind of way past when they should have told me I should get my stronghold. Let me speak to the lady in the front. Otherwise, yet again, we will wait.
Stay as long as you like, friend. It would be a privilege to talk with you. I don't have any more duties for you. What brings you here? He is a good man and was a close friend of my father. You will find no better sponsor in all of House Redoran.
Alright, I'm going to try to speak to him again.
What are you gawking at?
Any word on the smugglers in
I'm
Shurenbal?
gonna see
I
if
am
I
glad
can...
my son is feeling better. He is a strong leader. I understand that Varvar Serethi's name will be... I do not think he will... The duel is an honorable tradition dating back at least to the found... The honor of House Redoran has been defended. Thank you for clear... Venom Manor is the first manor to your right when you enter Scar. Garisa Lethri will be in Lethri Manor, the last manor on your left as you enter Scar, between the Redoran Council Hall and my own home. It may be difficult to win his support, but you will have to speak with him and find out what he asks in return.
Okay, now he can train me. This is why I give up on, So I don't think we've even played the game for a month. Maybe we have. I haven't seen the chest repop anywhere, but, from this point on, it would take several weeks to build my stronghold, so, if anybody's particularly interested, I might get to it. I might not. This is just crazy. They should have really already told me. So, okay, hunting Daedra. I've agreed to help Flassa Irano. I must find and eliminate the spider Daedra matriarch. She believes that with the matriarch gone, it should cause the rest of them to scatter. The guards in Tomaril Manor can probably give me some direction. Okay, this is in Akamora. Actually go to my house here and then go southeast. Alright, you know, this is the twin lamps. I don't know if they're going to give anything to me. I've never really gotten this to activate, but I know that the twin lamps is about freeing slaves. And I've been freeing slaves as often as I can. Wow, really? You want me to pick the lock? Good job, sweetheart. So proud of you. Okay. Yeah. Not seeing it. I know also, Jobasha can speak about it, but I haven't met the requirements. I would like to free slaves, but, apparently I can't. Interestingly, in ESO, Elder Scrolls Online, you can see the beginning of the Twin Lamps in a quest line. So, it's an organization that's been around for hundreds of years. I would like to be involved with it, but apparently I can't be. You look majestic as fuck, ma'am. I'm sorry I had to kill you. Sitting up in your mountain. Oh. Well, I'm sorry you're dead, Camilla. See if there's anything. That's unfortunate. Still thinks I'm in combat. Oh. I like your outfit. You look amazing. I mean, not the big giant butt. This reminds me of Earthworm Jim. Very clean slug for a butt. Ow.
Is there something I can do for you? Is there something I
Stop
can
blocking
do
the
for you?
stairs. That'd be awesome. Oh my god. Hey, now it says she's up.
I'm not busy now.
I'm going to take some of my millions and fund a magician's program to create a
What can I
levitate
do for
spell
you?
that does not put you in a wind tunnel and destroy you. How goes the spider Daedra hunting? Matriarch is dead? That's excellent news. You've done the city a great service. I won't forget this. Here's the reward I promised you. You've more than earned it. Tiny SeAdRaKe! Let's go back to the Carrack Guild and see if it's hatched yet.
Greetings to you.
Look at you! It's a tiny Nessie. Look, it's a
It just
Nessie.
stood there, holding its tail and whispering.
Oh, that's
What did it
awesome.
say?
Look, the SeAdRaKe egg hatched. Yes, it hatched. The first SeAdRaKe anyone's seen alive in the Abatian Sea for decades. Right here in my bowl of seawater. Thank you so much for your help. I'm not sure if a magical creature like this even needs regular sustenance, but I bought some fish feed from Miro Costas here in town anyway. Here, give it a try. Maybe if you're the one to feed it, it'll start to warm up to you. On that subject, though, I have some unfortunate news. I've been invited to participate in some research of the Artemis Mages Guild, and I don't want to take this little creature so far from the sea. Will you take care of the SeAdRaKe? I'll be happy to take care of the creature. That's wonderful. It seems right that you should be the one to take care of this tiny SeAdRaKe, since you're the one who found the egg. You can visit here in the guild, or you can take the bowl with you wherever you like. I'd suggest you feed it some more. It clearly enjoys getting treats. Miro Calestis can sell you more fish feed if you run out. Oh, sweetheart. Oh my god, that is the best thing ever. I'm taking you with me. Okay, who? Mira?
You seem like very good company.
Okay, who? I'm going to buy a million
I do enjoy a good conversation.
million pieces of fish feed.
Well met. I've saved my best potions just for you.
Three blessings, friend.
How fare thee, friend?
Okay, who was it? I have to feed this little baby desperately.
What can I help you with?
Okay, let's see. No, the quest is over. This is the best. Love my little Nessie. All right. Who can feed my baby?
Greetings to you. A pleasure to meet you.
Okay, can you explain that to me again?
With pleasure. Please, go ahead. I'm all ears.
Oh dear.
I do enjoy a good conversation.
Well, I will have to figure that one out. Mages Guild unwanted advances. Lysandra Draco asked for my help to put a stop to some unwanted advances from Ugenring, a local who lives by the docks. Come on, man. Don't be a jerk. Well met, my friend. I'm afraid I'm a little busy trying to win over the love of my life. Why, who else could it be but the fair maiden who works at the Guild of Mages, Lysandra? I tell you, she's clearly in the wrong line of work. She'd go far in the Thieves' Guild, judging by how swiftly she stole my heart. Alas, I could go on for quite some time regarding my unending love for her, but I really must focus my immediate attention on winning her affection. I suppose that probably doesn't interest you? Actually, I'd love to hear more. Truly, I admit, my friend, that this would not be my first attempt at winning her heart. There was, in fact, also a second attempt after that, and a third attempt. I can tell you about them later if you'd like. But what's most pertinent to what I've planned next is so simple. I can't believe it didn't come to me until very recently. I've made a love potion. Isn't it just brilliant? It's just such a simple idea, I can't believe I didn't think of it sooner. And best of all, I even crafted them both myself. I guess that means one could say that the secret ingredient is love. Of course, I should explain. There's actually two potions. One I plan to drink myself, a charisma potion, to ensure my love can express itself unhindered, and the other is a carefully concocted love potion, made just with Lysandra in mind. This plan simply cannot fail. I spent what felt like an eternity pondering the best way to make the first move, but eventually it came to me as clear as day. Lysandra. Isn't she just like a flower herself, delicate, radiant, and smells divine? And so, in a stroke of brilliance, I traded away my late mother's prized silver brooch to a passing trader from Eleanor for a bouquet of his most exotic flowers. They were stunning, magnificent, and like nothing you'd find growing around here. And the look on her face, she blushed scarlet when I presented them, and I knew immediately that I'd taken her breath away. It was only natural, of course. I could tell right then that I'd left an impression, a lasting one, no doubt. She must have loved them as much as I love her. But I'm afraid she was taken with emotion to requite my love at the time. But I'm afraid she was too taken with emotion to requite my love at the time. I wasted no time planning my second attempt. Her heart was to be mine, as mine was already hers. Although I could tell my bouquet had taken Lysandra's breath away, she still seemed, well, a tad unconvinced. But fear not, I had prepared for this. In fact, I spent that entire evening composing the most beautiful of sonnets to serenade her with. Now, I'm no poet by trade, not a singer, but I tell you, my passion transformed me. The verses flowed truly from my heart, as if empowered by some divine inspiration. I knew it would win her heart. And clearly, others thought so too. I drew quite the crowd, all hanging on my every word, mesmerized. There was such a hush, a reverent silence. They felt it, my devotion and my heart on full display. How could Lysandra not see it too? Having made my love known to all in Stark, I awaited her response, which never came. I had to try harder. I had to make a third attempt. But this was my finest gesture yet. 3 beautiful white doves, symbols of true, pure love, to be delicately released into Lysandra's workplace at the Mages Guild. I was positively delighted by the idea. It would be the ultimate token of devotion. Each dove carried a handwritten poem that tied delicately to its ankle. I imagined them soaring gracefully around the guild, their soft wings creating a magical, romantic atmosphere and filling the air with elegance and charm. Dude, poop, bird poop. 2 words. But, as it turns out, they were somewhat less cooperative than anticipated. Rather than circling in graceful harmony, they flapped wildly through the halls in panic. Papers flew, feathers scattered, and, well, they left a few gifts of their own. Yes, bird poop. The scene was perhaps more chaotic than I had intended, but I'm sure Lysandra saw the effect and passion behind my grand gesture. Who else would go to such lengths to prove their love? Okay. So clearly, we cannot convince him.
With pleasure. Please, go ahead. I'm all ears.
His first attempt, he almost killed me. I wish I were kidding. The bouquet he presented, all too proudly, contained a flower native to Somerset that I happen to be violently allergic to. Within moments, my face swelled up and I could hardly breathe. I had to excuse myself and run to my alchemy lab for an antidote, which, of course, only convinced him that I was overcome with emotion. How on Nirn could I explain a mere allergic reaction to someone so oblivious? Mere days after the near-death by bouquet incident, he struck again. This time it was a public serenade, in the middle of the street, no less. He arrived with a crumpled sheet of paper clutched in one hand, and after loudly clearing his throat, he began most bizarrely. He simply repeated my name in a series of odd variations. Lysandra, 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 drawing it out as if each syllable held some deep meaning. By the time he got to the 5th round of Lysandras, a crowd had stopped in the tracks, staring in amusement. It certainly didn't help that he seemed to be changing tempo on a whim, too. First slow and dramatic, then quick and high-pitched. It was quite the show, that poor Myrrh. Ah, yes, the doves. Except they weren't doves at all. They were gulls. Large, noisy, and if the state of the floors afterward was any indication, very recently well-fed gulls. They swooped around the guild, cawing and flapping madly. They left trails of feathers and other unmentionable messes everywhere. It took us days to scrub everything clean, and I swear the stench lingered for even longer. You can perhaps now understand why I am a tad anxious about what he might have planned next. Love potions? Okay, we need to make sure these potions are safe. To accomplish that, we need an alchemist to inspect them, but given what occurred with Ugenring's bouquet, I'd rather not risk doing so myself. A friend of mine in the Anvil Guildhall, Triton, would be able to make sure they're safe if you could find a way to take them to her. Perhaps offer to take his potions to Anvil in order to fortify them, in order to boost his chances. Sure, he'll hand them straight over.
Greetings to you. A pleasure to meet you. You seem like very good company.
Well met, friend.
May you walk on warm sand.
Greetings to you. A pleasure to meet you.
Okay, that is not where I wanted to go. Oh, it doesn't have any marker. Hold on. Alchemist in Anvil. Let's see. They're off. Weird.
All right, I'm listening.
No, it's Triton. Alright, I'm gonna try going around the Guild of Mages again, see if I can find them. This place is huge. There's a lot of people. Are you an
Oh,
alchemist?
greetings. How do you do? Maybe talk?
Carahill!
Welcome. Care to talk?
I'm all yours.
Please
Go
ahead.
ahead.
are you?
Speak.
I'm not busy now. What do you need?
My God.
You speak kindly and with great wisdom.
If you need a good laugh or a tall tale,
How
you've come to the
delightful.
right place.
Welcome.
Holy crap, this place is huge.
Please
My
go
spells
ahead.
are the
I don't
best you'll
recall
find in
using
town.
teleportation.
So let's make a
And yet
deal.
There I was. alone, naked.
What
Oh,
can
thank
Khajiit
goodness.
do for you?
Unwanted advances. Jatan owes much to Lysandra. If inspecting some potions will help her, then Jatan will do it free of charge. Bring them both to Jatan and she'll see what she can tell you. Didn't... Oh, good lord. Okay. I don't have the potions. Okay. I just looked up what's really important about life right now. Finding fish feed. Where is Karak? See if I can teleport, if I can find the teleporter again. This place is gigantic.
Greetings. I don't recall using teleportation, and yet there I was, alone, naked.
Look, this is really important. I mean, more important than Corpus. More important than anything. I have to get to Karak. And buy fish feed.
Well met.
Our sugar is yours, friend.
Thank you.
Greetings, friend. I'm up for conversation, if you care to talk.
Now, there is a merchant named Milo. Wow, I hate this music so much. Maro, please. Please. It's so important. I have a precious baby.
Glory and honor, Emperor. I'm listening.
Fish feed, thank you. Okay, thank you. Wait a minute, while I'm in town, let's go talk to the jerk. That's not very specific, is it? Oh, wow, I hate this music so much. Oh, it's so bad. It's like all the worst things from 1980s MIDI.
This is a wondrous encounter. Welcome.
I've been thinking, how do you know the potion will be strong enough? I could take them to Anvil to have an alchemist fortify them. My friend, that's a fantastic idea. If I didn't know any better, I'd swear that dead Bella herself had sent you my way. Of course, my friend, of course. Please take them both and do hurry. Okay, but I have a precious baby, so, we know what's important right now. Now, technically, they are a companion at the moment. And we can't have that. Okay, so what I want to do is make sure they have a place of honor near water. I don't want to roast them by the stove. This is so important. Come on, tiny SeAdRaKe. Yes! Hello, baby. Hi! Okay. Alright. Now, you be happy, okay? Is that your music? That's kind of awesome. Okay. I want to make sure everything's okay for you. So, there we go. Yes. No, I didn't bind in Karak. Well, that was dumb. Alright. Oh, oops. Where did I go? Oh.
Warm day to you, friend.
Love potion. Of course, anything to help draw Tan's old friend, Lysandra. Now let your tongue see. A love potion, you say? Truth be told, it's more akin to a drain personality potion, albeit a rather poor attempt at one. Given its extraordinarily poor quality, Dratan can't guarantee any effect it might have. In any likelihood, it's just as likely to make the drinker quite sick and miserable as anything else. So-called charisma potion, at least, is entirely harmless, though equally ineffectual. Anyone who'd stoop so low as to try to have someone drink a love potion in order to win their heart deserves a taste of their own medicine. Dratan suggests that you swap the potions around and give that poor fool what he deserves. Hopefully that will teach him a lesson. I seriously doubt it. Okay, I see you, but what I really need is to mark at Milo's shop, which was Miro, excuse me. Where was it? Your lord, I was right there. Miro. Hi. I'm back. You will understand, I will be back every week to buy everything you have.
Glory and honor, emperor and empire.
I will be your most devoted customer. And I promise I won't bring porpoise meat or vampire dust or skooma, and it will only ever be about awesome baby stuff. Okay. All right, my dear.
If there is anything I can do, I am humbly at your service.
You're back. Did you manage to get my potion fortified? I say this as a friend. It's time you realize that Lysandra doesn't feel the same way about you, and she never will. What are you talking about? She's simply playing hard to get. She wants me to prove my affection to her. Anyone can see that. It's only a matter of time till she comes to see sense, to see that she loves me back, isn't it? If she felt the same way by now, you wouldn't be resorting to a love potion of all things. It's time to let her go. Maybe you could start again in Anvil? You speak the truth. I think I've known this from the beginning. I was so caught up in my own feelings I never stopped to consider hers. I recognize that now, thanks to you. Thank you, my friend. You spoke the truth to me when no one else would. I'll take your advice and head to Anvil. I've always heard little Arenthia is nice. Perhaps that's where I'll go. Feel free to make use of my house. I'll be leaving soon and have no use for it. Oh, you learned? Did you learn? Yeah, it's good that you're leaving. Yep. 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 Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm not busy now. What do you need?
Thank you for convincing him to leave with his dignity. I hope he finds what he's looking for in Anvil. And more important now, I'll be able to focus on my work without distraction. Take these as a token of my appreciation. 3 cheap fortified personality potions. Y'all got any more of those baby sea dragons?
You seem like very good company.
We've been able to clear out some goblins in Kingfisher Cave, located to the northeast of Stirk. Yes, I think I already did that. Kingdom's guards recently drove them off, but the vermin returned almost immediately. Worse still, they belong to the so-called Wave Reaver tribe, seafaring pirates, if you can believe it. Historically, these Wave Reavers have given Stirk a wide berth due to the Navy, but since the closure of Duskwatch Keep, they've grown much bolder. We've been hired to clear out the cave once again, but this time we'll deploy a permanent Daedric presence to deter any further incursions. Permanent summons are exceptionally difficult and time-consuming, of course. So, Kalmanwe will assist you in this regard. Take this scroll. She will bind the Daedra permanently once you've summoned it. The enchantment will only function from inside the cave, and only once it detects no remaining goblins. The cave itself is on the north side of the island, on the hillside east of Wormsul. There's another high elf camped and a smaller alien ruin north of Carrick, so perhaps she can offer more specific directions. Kalmanwe should still be in the Aquamarine suite at the Sunset Hotel, so speak to her there before making your way to the cave. By the way, I also have an informal duty to ask of you. While you're with Kalmanwe, I'd like you to put in a good word for me. Nothing too obvious, mind you, but it'll do wonders for my standing in the wider guild. She's quite influential back in Somerset, you see, and it never hurts to have friends in high places when you're looking to move up in the world. Speaking of which, I'm sure you can appreciate why this would be a good opportunity for you, too. There's an outstanding bounty in Dragonstar for Sigoris, who's wanted alive by Commander Veros, though he admits this may not be possible. She's believed to be encamped outside Ankuriel, north of Dragonstar. Oh boy, tried this before. Okay, let's fly north. Head up here to this landmark. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how to bring these argumentative people in. I'm not going naked so they don't kill themselves on my gear. That's a little bit unreasonable. A little bit. They don't have to attack me. reached level 24. Yes. That's some cool architecture anyway. I like that. Not at all sure what it's supposed to be. Spider Dome. Alright. I suppose I'm supposed to be angsty about this and worried, oh, can I bring them in alive? But if these quests are made to screw me over, then, okay, you don't get what you want, and I don't really care. I tell them what I'm going to do. And then I do it.
Now you die.
Soon you'll be reduced to dust.
Okay,
Your
let's
skills
see.
fail you.
I'll try a calm.
Say your words.
Care to tell me what this is about?
You're here about my bounty, am I correct? You think I'd come with you? Tail between my legs? You think your laws will treat me fairly? I've been ordered to kill you if you won't surrender. This is your best option. You're strong, true. Very well, take me to the prison and I will answer their questions. Okay. I did it!
This is fortunate. How do you do, Dunmer?
Hello.
Never will. I told him so.
See her there. Fantastic work. Here's the bounty with the bonus for bringing her in alive. This one will require some discretion on your part. We need you to capture Lovey the Gut. This bounty must be handled with the utmost delicacy. Oh boy, okay. Lovey the Gut is one of Jarl Jonah's unruly thanes and a chieftain of the Firehand clan, known to have been raiding farms and native settlements across the Reach. He must face the law, but we do not want to create an incident with the Jarl, and so I need you to bring him back here alive, preferably unharmed. He's spending his current sojourn in town with the at the Dragonstar Arena.
I'd be happy to. Porker High. My pleasure, good as new.
Aurelia instructed me to travel to Hamtir's Great Hallow Hall and get a Reachman alchemy sample from Anor. Okay, we're really close. Okay, so we just go south. Okay, this town has seen better days.
Can you ask your question quickly? I must be going.
Richmond alchemy sample. Ah, Aurelian, I did not expect her to call on her debt so soon. Well, I have nothing to give her. The tribes have not come through with anything suitable lately. The nearby Richmond, I have good relations with Brain. I suggest you travel to their camp, Braglor, and speak with the shaman, Enu. Within Brain, I don't know. It says Ainsaid. Within Brain, I'm gonna skip that. About procuring the sample. Mention my name, that I requested it as an offering to these entities you see around. That should prove sufficiently persuasive to Ainum. Oh, Brainicida. Alright, that's unnecessarily. It's unnecessarily much. Oh, come on. This is, not fun, folks. Okay, yeah, Freed, even though there are awesome things like baby SeAdRaKes, there is so much contextless fetch and carry that is not fun. Wow, that doesn't look healthy.
Yes, what is it?
Who are you to so boldly stride into Brainicida? I recognize a request in those eyes. Come quick
What
then,
was that
speak
about?
words into the air. What brings you to Claraglor? Einstock wishes to make an offering to the great Hallow Hall. Somber request from a somber house god's witch. I will make it for her fresh. You bring me some of the grim powder of the Crediban, and I will give you this offering. In Norse speak, they call it widow's kiss. Flower grows around sepulchres of dead men, petals brittle as their bones. Dead men left some inside. For dead men, powder dries ages. Leave Craglor by its gate, wind your way north and west beneath the mesa, and follow the cliff until you reach Cragsida. I will permit you to gather powder from the widow kiss that grows
What
atop
was
it.
that about?
Return with such powder, and I will give you the sample. Okay, this is... Okay, so that's the thing. So she gave me directions, but the directions are not really written down. And now it's sending me to the Narcissus laboratories. I'm gonna let that loop around to see if I really want to get involved with that. That's a lot, guys. Trail at Broder Grove. For 500 years, Ulfgar's been unsuccessfully searching. Oh, okay, so we are back to... Sovngarde, a re-examination. Alright, let's go buy the book from, Jabasha.
May I help you, Outlander?
Praise Vivek. You have our attention, Dunmer.
A book today? Sweet moon sugar.
Sovngarde, a re-examination by Beredit Jastal. Speculation regarding Sovngarde, the Nordic Hall of Valor Death. It is something we all face. Or do we? Just ask the nearest Nord what he thinks of the end of life, and you'll likely be treated to a horrific story of blood, bone, and viscera, of courageous deeds and heartbreaking sorrow. Carnage notwithstanding, there may be even more to death than the average Nord warrior realizes. New evidence suggests a life beyond the battlefield, where a valiant Nord may live forever, downing mead and engaging in contests of strength and skill. But in order to fully understand the possibility of a Nord's eternal life after death, one must first re-examine the legends surrounding that most wondrous of warriors' retreats, Hus, Sovngarde. According to the ancient writings and oral traditions of the Nords, going back as far as the late Merethic era, there exists a place so magnificent, so honored, that the entrance lies hidden from view. Sovngarde, it is called, built by the god Shor to honor those Nords who have proven their mettle in war. Within this Hall of Valor, time as we know it has no meaning. The concepts of life and death are left on the doorstep, and those within exist in a sort of self-contained euphoria, free of pain, suffering, and the worst malady a Nord could suffer, boredom. But just how well hidden the entrance to Sovngarde is has been a matter of much scholarly debate, and there are those who believe Shor's Great Hall is just a myth, for there are no actual accounts from Nords who have experienced the wonders of Sovngarde, then returned to tell the tale. Not that this has stopped anyone from looking. Some Nords spend a lifetime searching for the mysterious hidden entrance to Sovngarde. Most return home sad and broken, their hearts heavy with failure. They'll never know the pleasure of a mead flagon that never empties, or a wrestling tournament without end. What, some may ask, does the entrance to Sovngarde have to do with death? Everything, according to a series of ancient parchments recently discovered in the attic of a deceased Nord's home in Cyrodiil. What at first seemed to be a series of love letters was later found to be a correspondence between one Felga Four Fingers, a medium of some note, and the ghost of a Nord warrior named Rolf the Large. According to the parchments, Rolf had spent his entire life searching for the entrance to Sovngarde, without success. He was returning home to his village in Skyrim when he was waylaid by a band of giants. Rolf fought bravely, but was quickly killed, and the giants proceeded to play catch with his head. Amazingly, all of this was seen by Rolf in ghostly form as he drifted away from the scene, soaring upwards into the heavens, where he finally arrived, in the magnificent hall of Sovngarde. Rolf could not believe his good fortune and his foolishness for not having realized the truth so many years before. For death was the entrance to Sovngarde. So he was told by Shor himself, who greeted Rolf the Large as a brother, and personally handed him a leg of roast mutton and the hand of a comely wench. Sovngarde, Shor told him, can be entered by any Nord who dies valiantly in honorable combat. It is time for Nords to learn the truth. Eternal life can be theirs, without the need to spend an entire mortal life in vain pursuit of something completely unattainable. In the end, all valiant Nords can enter Sovngarde. Dismemberment, decapitation, or evisceration seems a small price to pay for the chance to spend an eternity in Shor's wondrous hall.
Once again, you are, it's a gender issue. Women are prizes and wenches and serving implements in Sovngarde. Not just in this game, but in the original myth from which it comes from. So it's all incredibly distasteful. All right, so it sounds like we're going to be killing Ulfgar the Unending, huh? He's going to need to fight me. I mean, the dude's been, like, cold for a very long time, yes?
Have you found it? Have you found the entrance? Welcome back. I hope Solstheim has been treating you well. So tell me, have you managed to locate the entrance to Sovngarde? Ha! Of course you haven't. I searched for 500 years and never succeeded. You know, there's a part of me that feels Sovngarde doesn't even exist.
Actually, Ulfgar, I came upon this book. It's called Sovngarde: A Re-Examination and seems to offer new theories as to how one might enter Sovngarde. I think it may have the answers you seek.
New theories, you say? Let me see the book you speak of. Could this be? Is it possible the entrance to Sovngarde lie right before me all along? It makes so much sense. You've done it. You've found the way to Sovngarde. All I need to do is die valiantly in combat. But how? I know. You must help me. You must defeat me in armed combat and send my soul to Sovngarde. Tell me, will you honor me with a fight to the death?
I'll help you. I'll do everything in my power to defeat you in armed combat.
You honor me with this decision. Songs will be written of our glorious battle. It is true that in my heart I wish to be defeated, so that I may enter Sovngarde. But know this, I will fight, and fight valiantly, as I have all my life. You will probably die by my hand. I will grant no quarter, no mercy, and I expect no less from you. Go now. Prepare for battle. When you are ready, speak with me again, and then we shall engage in armed combat.
Okay. It is Sovngarde, so he might be right. He might kill me.
I have been waiting for you. The hour of battle is upon us. I hope you are well prepared to engage such a worthy foe as myself. I have roamed the land for 500 years, leaving death in my wake. And although I have been brought to the brink of death on more than one occasion, still I live. It is my hope that you are my match and will send my soul racing to Sovngarde. Now we test our mettle. To arms! Now this is fighting. Oz, you did it! You defeated me! Oz, you have Cuff, open the gates to Sovngarde. Oz, I can see them before me. My brothers are there. Cuff, I must go now, my friend. Cuff, go to Broder Grove, if I can. Oz, I will return to you there. I will, Oz, reward you for everything. Must go. Now, Cuff, I'm coming, my comrades. Cuff, I'm Cuckoo, Oz.
Well, if we'd seen the text of that, it might have made more sense, but yes, it's rendered rather poorly. Yes? I killed Ulfgar. With his dying breath, he thanked me for granting him entrance to Sovngarde. He also said he'd try to reach out me from the afterlife and leave some kind of reward at Broder Grove. I'm in Broder Grove, right? Oh no, I'm in the dwelling. Okay. Could have just chewed on a lot of this foxglove.
You did it. By helping me die valiantly, you showed my soul the way to Sovngarde. My friends, Hunror, Erlander, and Nicholas, have been waiting for me. I told them of your willingness to help me, and recounted our glorious battle. The four of us wish to give you a reward fitting of such a warrior. So we give you a piece of ourselves. Lay your hands on a stone, and you will receive that warrior's greatest attribute. Now farewell, my friend. Sovngarde awaits.
Been granted the gift of Nicholas's personality. I'll take it. Well, for the first time, his level actually showed up as 30 and not just a bizarre Daedric rune I couldn't read. I am getting bigger. Okay, Skull Test of Wisdom. Engar Icemane has been accused of theft by Rigmor Halfhand. Apparently, theft is a grievous offense among the Skull, as each is given according to his need. It's an offense punishable by death, or worse, exile from Skull lands. Engar Icemane has chosen death over exile. Heartfang would like me to investigate the accusation of theft, bring him proof at the time of the crime, and make a decision based on my findings. I should speak with the people of the Skull Village.
Hello again, friend. What may I do for you? Hello again, friend. What may I do for you? Engar has been a valiant warrior for the Skull for as long as I can remember. Both his father and his father's father were known to be brave and honest men as well. His wife, Risi Icemane, will be heartbroken if he is found to be guilty. Speak with her. She knows him well.
You are the one who is to investigate a crime that has been blamed on my husband. How may I help you? Engar would never do a thing such as this. He is a man of honor, and we want for nothing. I cannot imagine what would drive Rigmor to make such an accusation. Perhaps he is jealous of my husband, and these charges are meant to disgrace him.
Letter from Rigmor to Risi. Dearest Risi, why will you not see me? You know how I feel, and I know you feel the same about me. Please simply consent to speak to me. Just a word, a moment with you would ease my soul. If I cannot be with you, I'll have to resort to something drastic. Please consider your feelings. Your husband is a lout, away for weeks at a time, with no consideration for your needs. I've always been there for you, and I always will be. We should be together, dear Risi. R.H. Okay.
You are the one who is to investigate a crime that has been blamed on my husband. How may I help you? You have found the letter, have you not? It is true that Rigmor and I had a brief affair, but that has ended. He refuses to let me go, though. I fear that he has caused this trouble just to get rid of Engar. You must put a stop to this. My husband is a good man, and does not deserve this fate.
Maybe you could have told me that. Ugh.
Yes? Yes? I understand you are investigating Engar Icemane's theft, a terrible thing. But you were sent to investigate a crime. What can I do for you, Outlander? You found that letter. But why would... This is an outrage. I only wanted the woman. Why did that fool have to choose the wolves? He could have simply left, and she and I could have been together forever. You know my crime, and I know you must tell Heartfang. Let us go to him, and I will accept my fate.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's a dumb quest. Ugh. I am so sick of investigating unfaithful people. Yes, I get it. Sex exists. Stop
You've got the
putting
better
it
of
in my
me, so go
quests.
ahead. You were to investigate a crime. Have you done this? You were to investigate a crime. Have you done this? So Half-Hand has invented this tale of theft over a woman? By the Allmaker, this will not go unpunished. By Skald tradition, making a false accusation carries the same penalty as the crime that is claimed. In this case, either exile or death by sacrifice to the wolves. The verdict is yours to decide. Half-Hand would be forced to leave the Skald village, never to return. None of the Skald will hunt him, but neither will they offer him aid, even in his most dire need. He will be dead to this tribe until the end time. The verdict is yours. Make your choice. Half-Hand must be exiled permanently from the Skald, or he must be fed to the ceremonial wolves. Which do you choose?
I choose exile.
Then he shall be exiled. Half-Hand may never again return to the Skald village, and he shall be dead to the Skald forever. It is a cruel choice you have made, but perhaps it is wise. Here, accept this token. It is unlikely, but perhaps you too can be more like the wolves we revere. You have done well. You have shown your loyalty and wisdom, but there is one thing further I will require of you. Now you must prove your strength as a warrior. I wish for you to travel to Lake Fialding. I will mark it on your map. Seek out Korst Windeye, who has traveled there already. He will give you further instructions. Look for him on the northern shore of the lake.
All right, that looks rather involved, so I will let that loop back around. Warlock's Ring. Okay. South of here. Mud Grotto. All right. Sorry, man. You're not my mud crab. So this is the Warlock's Ring that Ajira told us existed in the world. Best outcome for this quest ever. Yeah, this is a pain in the ass area where they just run up and down this bridge and in the water and all over the place, and she keeps summoning, and I can't target her, and yay, Warlock's Ring. Okay. Okay. That should be it. Okay. So I just go back to Ajira and let her know, oh, look at all the mushrooms. Hello, babies. You know, after catching Corpus and seeing people eat... What? Haha. Okay, we have a messed up texture. Seeing people eat each other with Corpus, the idea of eating meat is incredibly nasty. So she's just gonna... She's a vegetarian now. She can afford to buy the best mushrooms that ever existed. She's gonna wipe Atronach off her. I'm in water. There, see, I got poisoned because I ate it. Just gonna take a nap in the bunk for old time's sake.
Good to see you. Do you need my services?
Ajira's a good friend to Nandine and tells Nandine about the Warlock's Ring. So you found the Warlock's Ring. Remember that Ajira is your good friend who shares all her secrets. Okay. And that is pretty much it for anything in the Balmora's Guild as far as I know. Alright, for the temple, we need to kill a necromancer in Maula. Mawia. Mawia. Oh, cool. We've been there. Gosh, how could you tell they were a necromancer? I wonder. That's messed up, guys. Yeah, you need to be extra dead. This is for making me walk so far. And when I get there, we'll eventually... Very satisfying. Shimsil, short blade, one-handed, fortify sneak, and chameleon. Nice. She's a little disappointed to know she has read all the books that this horrific necromancer has put out here, but she has gone out of her way to read a lot of books. Not okay. I am not reaching in there to grab whatever that is.
I am blessed. Is the necromancer Delvam Andaris no longer a threat to the temple? Delvam Andaris is dead. You have done the temple a great service. When you are ready, I have more urgent duties for you. Your talents are noteworthy, but some questions. Speak with me again when you have gained the rank of curate. I will have more duties for you then. Until then, you could ask Tolls Valen at the Aldrun Temple, or Endrin Lethan at the High Fane in Vivek.
Yeah, this gets a little bit weird because I'm pretty sure I have already gone to those guys. But the person in Aldrun told me to get back to them. Honestly, I haven't finished the temple's line because I keep ending up going in circles as to who would help me next. Oh, the High Fane can help you. Oh, someone at Ghostgate can help you. Someone in Aldrun, someone in Margan, someone in... And they can't. So,
Go ahead, Outlander. What do you need?
I'll do everything I can do. But if I recall, they just keep sending me in circles.
I am blessed to be at your service, Outlander. Speak with me again when you have proven yourself in the temple. I have one more thing to ask of you, but you are not ready. Until then, speak with Uvu Laren in Ghostgate, or Endrin Lethan in Vivek.
I'll try Vivek, but it's probably Uvu. And yeah, this just gets to be a real pain in the ass.
I am blessed to be at your service, Outlander. Speak with me again when you are a curate in the temple. Until then, you may ask Thara Rothaloth in Molag Mar, or Tolls Valen at the Aldrun Temple.
Yeah, that's what I get. They sent me right back to Molag Mar or Aldrun. The person in Aldrun did send me to, Ghostgate, so I'm going to try there. It's a bit of a pain in the ass to try to find her. But let me see if I can do it. Okay, Ghostgate. She's downstairs. There we go. Okay, I can go in there. It's a royal pain to try to run around in there and find her. Let me see if she will give me a quest. Let me mark here.
You flatter me with your attention, Outlander. I have no duties for anyone under the rank of curate. Speak with Thara Rothaloth in Morlag Mar, Tuls Valen at the Aldrun Temple, or Endrin Lethan at the High Fane in Vivek. Your talents are noteworthy,
I don't know what
some
to
question
do.
your depth of devotion.
It
Perform
is
more
really
duties for the
unfortunate.
temple, and you will soon be rewarded.
I do like the temple. So I'm going to take a screen capture of this, and I'm going to make sure that everyone that I am speaking to are people of these names. But it obviously is very frustrating when they just send you in circles. Okay, I'm going to do it again. I know we just did it, but let me make sure the names are right. Okay. So I think we just spoke to Edrin. We'll try to see. Yep, that's Edrin. He told me no.
Is there something I can do for you?
Now, it may be that I need to do more stuff overseas, which is a possibility. And maybe that's always been my issue. And that's okay. Well, we have picked up some stuff overseas. But,
I am blessed to be
this
at your
is
service,
Tuls
Outlander.
Valen. Oh, no. Thara. No. Okay, I think that's going to be my plan. I'm going to wait to see if anything overseas makes a difference or if I can raise my level. So I do have some temple stuff. Okay, so that'll be coming up pretty soon. Let's see if I have trauma root. I do have 3 trauma root for Dretha. So this is more of a role play thing than anything else. I'm happy to continue to bring, even though Mistress Dretha is completely insane, and we do not know the full extent of that. We understand Garden.
I like what I see.
Thank you. These will do nicely. Mistress Dretha gave Letta and me a bonus for the last harvest. We want you to have a portion of a token of our appreciation. The next thing Mistress Dretha wanted is a little more special. Come back when you're ready for more work. She wants her garden to be the only one in Vardenfell that grows Timsicumbi flowers. These flowers aren't native to the island. Apparently this request is something personal for her. Name of a childhood friend or something is the impression I got. She's not often sentimental, so I'd like to satisfy this request. Now, I'm not going to ask you to hike all the way to southeast to Morrowind to pick some flowers. I heard that Indral pilgrims sometimes leave the flowers as offerings in the High Fane and Vivek. Maybe you can find some there. 4 flowers will be enough. I should be able to get enough seeds from that many. Let's see if I have them. Nope, I don't have them. Alright. Well, that seems like a nice foggy place to end and go read a book. Alright, well, we just took a bath. Hello, baby! Hi! Hi, honey! I love you! You're the best! Alchemy skill is increased to 90. That is satisfying. Same, she's too afraid to actually use anything in her inventory for alchemy, but at least cooking mushrooms gets her some happiness. They are delicious.
Soap! The forest will eat love! Straight ahead! Stupid and a stupid cow! The voice boomed out so suddenly that Decimus Scotti jumped. He stared off into the dim jungle glade from which he only heard animal and insect calls and the low whistling of wind moments before. It was a queer, oddly accented voice of indiscriminate gender, tremulous in its modulations but unmistakably human, or at very least elven, an isolated Bosmer perhaps with a poor grasp of the Cyrodiilic language. After countless hours of plodding through the dense knot of Valenwood jungle, any voice of slight familiarity sounded wondrous. "Hello," he cried. "Beetles on any names?" "Certainly yesterday, yes," the voice called back. "Who, what, and when, and mice?" "I'm afraid I don't understand," replied Scotty, turning toward the brambled tree, thick as a wagon, where the voice had issued. "But you needn't be afraid of me. My name is Decimus Scotti. I'm a Cyrodiil from the Imperial City. I came here to help rebuild Valenwood after the war, you see, and now I'm rather lost. Gemstones and grilled slaves. The war," moaned the voice, and broke down into sobs. "You know about the war?" "I wasn't sure. I wasn't even sure how far away from the border I am now." Scotty began slowly walking toward the tree. He dropped Reglius's satchel to the ground and held out his empty hands. "I'm unarmed. I only want to know the way to the closest town. I'm trying to meet my friend Leodis Jurus in Sylvanar." "Sylvanar!" The voice laughed. It laughed even louder as Scotty circled the tree. "Worms and wine, worms and wine. Sylvanar sings for worms and wine." There was nothing to be found anywhere around the tree. "I don't see you. Why are you hiding?" In frustration born of hunger and exhaustion, he struck the tree trunk. A sudden shiver of gold and red erupted from a hollow nook above, and Scotty was surrounded by 6 winged creatures, scarcely more than a few inches long. Bright crimson eyes were set on either side of tunnel-like protuberances, the animals' always open mouths. They were legless, and their thin, rapidly beating aureate wings seemed poorly constructed to transport their fat, swollen bellies. And yet they darted through the air like sparks from a fire. Whirling about the poor clerk, they began chattering what he now understood to be perfect nonsense. Wines and worms, how far from the border am I? Academic garnishments, and alas, Leodis Jurus. Hello, I'm afraid I'm unarmed. Smoke and flames, and the closest town is dear oblivion. Swollen on bad meat, an indigo nimbus, but you needn't be afraid of me. Why are you hiding? Why are you hiding? Before I begin to friend, love me, Lady Zuleika. Furious with the mimics, Scotty swung his arms, driving them up into the treetops. He stomped back to the clearing and opened up the satchel again, as he had done some hours before. There was still, unsurprisingly, nothing useful in the bag, and nothing to eat in any corner or pocket. A goodly amount of gold. He smiled grimly as he had done before at the irony of being financially solvent in the jungle. A stack of neat blank contracts from Lord Van Eyck's building commission, some thin cord, and an oiled leather cloak for bad weather. At least, Scotty considered, he had not suffered rain. A rolling moan of thunder reminded Scotty of what he had suspected for some weeks now. He was cursed. Within an hour's time he was wearing the cloak and clawing his way through mud. The trees, which had earlier allowed no sunlight in, provided no shelter against the pounding storm and wind. The only sounds that pierced the pelting of the rain were the mocking calls of the flying creatures, flitting just above, babbling their nonsense. Scotty bellowed at them, threw rocks, but they seemed enamoured of his company. While he was reaching to grab a promising-looking stone to hurl at his tormentors, Scotty felt something shift beneath his feet. Wet but solid ground suddenly liquefied and became a rolling tide, rushing him forward. Light as a leaf, he flew head over feet overhead until the mudflow dropped and he continued forward, plunging down into a river 25 feet below. The storm passed quite as instantly as it had arrived. The sun melted the dark clouds and warmed Scotty as he swam for the shore. There, another sign of the Khajiiti incursion into Valenwood greeted him. A small fishing village had stood there once, so recently extinct that it smouldered like a still warm corpse. Dirt cairns that had once housed fish by the smell of them had been ravaged, their bounty turned to ash. Rafts and skiffs lay broken, scuttled, half submerged. All the villagers were no more, either dead or refugees far away, or so he presumed. Something banged against the wall of one of the ruins. Scotty ran to investigate. "My name is Decumus Scotty," sang the first winged beast. "I'm a Cyrodiil from the Imperial City. I came here to help rebuild Valenwood after the war, you see, and now I'm rather lost." "I swell to maculate, Apenek," agreed one of its companions. "I don't see you. Why are you hiding?" As they fell into chattering, Scotty began to search the rest of the village. Surely the cats had left something behind, a scrap of dried meat, a morsel of fish sausage, anything. But they had been immaculate in their complete annihilation. There was nothing to eat anywhere. Scotty did find one item of possible use under the tumbled remains of a stone hut, a bow and 2 arrows made of bone. The string had been lost, likely burned away in the heat of the fire, but he pulled the cord from Reglius's satchel and restrung it. The creatures flew over and hovered nearby as he worked. The convent of the sacred Leodes Eurus. You know about the war. Worms and wine circumscribe a golden host, Apenek. The moment the cord was taut, Scotty knocked an arrow and swung around, pulling the string tight against his chest. The winged beasts, having had experience with archers before, shot off in all directions in a blur. They needn't have bothered. Scotty's first arrow dove into the ground 3 feet in front of him. He swore and retrieved it. The mimics, having likewise had experience with poor archers before, returned at once to hovering nearby and mocking Scotty. On his second shot, Scotty did much better, in purely technical terms. He remembered how the archers in Falinesti looked when he pulled himself out from under the Horva tick, and they were all taking aim at him. He extended his left hand, and right elbow in a symmetrical line, drawing the bow so his hand touched his jawline, and he could see the creature in his sight like the arrow was a finger he was pointing with. The bolt missed the target by only 2 feet, but it continued on its trajectory, snapping when it struck a rock wall. Scotty walked to the river's edge. He had only 1 arrow left, and perhaps he considered it would be most practical to find a slow-moving fish and fire it on that. If he missed, at least there was less of a chance of breaking the shaft, and he could always retrieve it from the water. A rather torpid, whiskered fish rolled by, and he took aim at it. "My name is Decumus Scotty," one of the creatures howled, frightening the fish away. "Stupid and a stupid cow! Will you dance a dance in fire?" Scotty turned and aimed the arrow as he had done before. This time, however, he remembered to plant his feet as the archers had done, 7 inches apart, knees straight, left leg slightly forward to meet the angle of his right shoulder. He released the last arrow. The arrow also proved a serviceable prong for roasting the creature against the smoking hot stones of one of the ruins. Its other companions had disappeared instantly after the beast was slain, and Scotty was able to dine in peace. The meat proved to be delicious, if scarcely more than a first course. He was picking the last of it from the bones when a boat sailed into view from around the bend of the river. At the helm were Bosmer sailors. Scotty ran to the bank and waved his arms. They averted their eyes and continued past. "You bloody callous bastards!" Scotty howled. "Knaves, hooligans, ape-necked scoundrels!" A grey-whiskered form came out from a hatch, and Scotty immediately recognized him as Griff Mallon, the poet-translator he had met in the caravan from Cyrodiil. He peered Scotty's direction, and his eyes lit up with delight. Decumus Scotty. Precisely the man I hoped to see. I want to get your thoughts on a rather puzzling passage in the Morrowind play bar. It begins, "I went weeping into the world, searching for wonders." Perhaps you're familiar with it? "I'd like nothing better than to discuss the Morrowind play bar with you, Griff," Scotty called back. "Would you let me come aboard, though, first?" Overjoyed at being on a ship bound for any port at all, Scotty was true to his word. For over an hour, as the boat rolled down the river past the blackened remnants of Bosmeri villages, he asked no questions, and spoke nothing of his life over the past weeks. He merely listened to Mallon's theories of merethic Aldmeri esoterica. The translator was undemanding of his guest's scholarship, accepting nods and shrugs as civilized conversation. He even produced some wine and fish jelly, which he shared with Scotty absent-mindedly as he expounded on his various theses. Finally, while Mallon was searching for a reference to some minor point in his notes, Scotty asked, "Rather off subject, but I was wondering where we're bound." "The very heart of the province, Sylvanar," Mallon said, not looking up from the passage he was reading. "It's somewhat bothersome, actually, as I wanted to go to Woodhearth first to talk to a Bosmer there who claims to have an original copy of Dirith Yalmilhiad, if you can believe it. But for the time being, that has to wait. Somerset Isle has surrounded the city and is in the process of starving the citizenry until they surrender. It's a tiresome prospect, since the Bosmeri are happy to eat one another, so there's a risk that at the end only one fat wood elf will remain to wave the flag." "That is vexing," agreed Scotty sympathetically. "To the east, the Khajiiti are burning everything, and to the west, the High Elves are waging war. I don't suppose the borders to the north are clear." "They're even worse," replied Mallon, finger on the page, still distracted. "The Cyrodiils and Redguards don't want Bosmer refugees streaming into their provinces. It only stands to reason. Imagine how much more criminally inclined they'd be now that they're homeless and hungry." "So," murmured Scotty, feeling a shiver, "we're trapped in Valenwood." "Not at all. I need to leave fairly shortly myself, as my publisher has set a very definite deadline for my new book of translations. From what I understand, one merely petitions to the Sylvanar for special border protection, and one can cross into Cyrodiil with impunity." "Petition the Sylvanar, or petition at Sylvanar?" "Petition the Sylvanar at Sylvanar. It's an odd nomenclature that is typical of this place, the sort of thing that makes my job as a translator that much more challenging. The Sylvanar, he, or rather they, are the closest the Bosmeri have to a great leader. The essential thing to remember about the Sylvanar—" Mallon smiled, finding the passage he was looking for. "Here, a fortnight. Inexplicable. The world burns into a dance. There's that metaphor again." "What were you saying about the Sylvanar?" asked Scotty. "The essential thing to remember." "I don't remember what I was saying," replied Mallon, turning back to his oration. In a week's time, the little boat bumped along the shallow, calmer waters of the foaming current the Xylo had become, and Decumus Scotty first saw the city of Sylvanar. If Falinesti was a tree, then Sylvanar was a flower. a magnificent pile of faded shades of green, red, blue, and white, shining with crystalline residue. Malin had mentioned offhand, when not otherwise explaining Aldmeri prosody, that Silvenar had once been a blossoming glade in the forest, but owing to some spell or natural cause, the tree's sap began flowing with translucent liqueur. The process of the sap flowing and hardening over the colourful trees had formed the web of the city. Malin's description was intriguing, but it hardly prepared him for the city's beauty. "What is the finest, most luxurious tavern here?" Scotty asked one of the Bosmer boatmen. "Prithala Hall," Malin answered. "But why don't you stay with me? I'm visiting an acquaintance of mine, a scholar I think you'll find fascinating. His hovel isn't much, but he has the most extraordinary ideas about the principles of a Merethic Aldmeri tribe, the Sarmathi." "Under any other circumstances I would happily accept," said Scotty graciously, "but after weeks of sleeping on the ground or on a raft and eating whatever I could scrounge, I feel the need for some indulgent creature comforts, and then, after a day or two, I'll petition the Silvenar for safe passage to Cyrodiil." The men bade each other goodbye. Griff Malin gave him the address of his publisher in the Imperial City, which Scotty accepted and quickly forgot. The clerk wandered the streets of Silvenar, crossing bridges of amber, admiring the petrified forest architecture. In front of a particularly estimable palace of silvery reflective crystal he found Prithala Hall. He took the finest room and ordered a gluttonous meal of the finest quality. At a nearby table he saw two very fat fellows, a man and a Bosmer, remarking how much finer the food was there than at the Silvenar's palace. They began to discuss the war and some issues of finances and rebuilding provincial bridges. The man noticed Scotty looking at them, and his eyes flashed recognition. "Scotty, is that you? Kinnereth, where have you been? I've had to make all the contacts here on my own." At the sound of his voice, Scotty recognized him. The fat man was Leodis Juras, vastly and Scene: Silvenar, Valenwood. Date: 13 Sun's Dusk. Decumus Scotty sat down, listening to Leodis Juras. The clerk could hardly believe how fat his former colleague at Lord Atreus's building commission had become. The piquant aroma of the roasted meat dish before Scotty melted away. All the other sounds and textures of Prithala Hall vanished all around him, as if nothing else existed but the vast form of Juras. Scotty did not consider himself an emotional man, but he felt a tide flow over him at the sight and sound of the man whose badly written letters had been the guideposts that carried him from the Imperial City back in early frost fall. "Where have you been?" Juras demanded again. "I told you to meet me in Falinesti weeks ago." "I was there weeks ago," Scotty stammered, too surprised to be indignant. "I got your note to meet you in Athe, and so I went there, but the Khajiiti had burned it to the ground. Somehow I found my way with the refugees in another village, and someone there told me that you had been killed." "And you believed that right away?" Juras sneered. "The fellow seemed very well informed about you. He was a clerk from Lord Vanek's building commission named Reglius, and he said that you had also suggested that he come down to Valenwood to profit from the war." "Oh, yes," said Juras, after thinking a moment. "I recall the name now. Well, it's good for business to have two representatives from Imperial building commissions here. We just need to all coordinate our bids, and all should be well." "Reglius is dead," said Scotty, "but I have his contracts from Lord Vanek's commission." "Even better," gasped Juras, impressed. "I never knew you were such a ruthless competitor, Decumus Scotty. Yes, this could certainly improve our position with the Silvenar. Have I introduced you to Basth here?" Scotty had only been dimly aware of the Bosmer's presence at the table with Juras, which was surprising given that the Mer's girth nearly equalled his dining companion. The clerk nodded to Basth coldly, still numb and confused. It had not left his mind that only any hour earlier Scotty had intended to petition the Sylvanar for safe passage through the border back to Cyrodiil. The thought of doing business with Duras, after all, of profiting from Valenwood war with Elsewhere, and now the second one with the Somerset Isle, seemed like something happening to another person. "Your colleague and I were talking about the Sylvanar," said Bast, putting down the leg of mutton he had been gnawing on. "I don't suppose you've heard about his nature." "A little, but nothing very specific. I got the impression that he's very important and very peculiar." "He's the representative of the people, legally, physically, and emotionally," explained Duras, a little annoyed at his new partner's lack of common knowledge. "When they're healthy, so is he. When they're mostly female, so is he. When they cry for food or trade or an absence of foreign interference, he feels it too and makes laws accordingly. In a way he's a despot, but he's the people's despot." "That sounds," said Scotty, searching for the appropriate word, "like bunk." "Perhaps it is," shrugged Bast. "But he has many rights as the voice of the people, including the granting of foreign building and trade contracts. It's not important whether you believe us. Just think of the Sylvanar as being like one of your mad emperors, like Pelagius. The problem facing us now is that since Valenwood is being attacked on all sides, the Sylvanar's aspect is now one of distrust and fear of foreigners. The one hope of his people, and thus of the Sylvanar himself, is that the Emperor will intervene and stop the war." "Will he?" asked Scotty. "You know as well as we do that the Emperor has not been himself lately." Duras helped himself to Reglius's satchel and pulled out the blank contracts. "Who knows what he'll choose to do or not do? That reality is not our concern, but these blessings from the late good Sir Reglius make our job much simpler." They discussed how they would represent themselves to the Sylvanar into the evening. Scotty ate continuously, but not nearly so much as Duras and Bast. When the sun had begun to rise in the hills, its light reddening through the crystal walls of the tavern, Duras and Bast left to their rooms at the palace, granted to them diplomatically in lieu of an actual immediate audience with the Sylvanar. Scotty went to his room. He thought about staying up a little longer to ruminate over Eurus's plans and see what might be the flaw in them, but upon touching the cool, soft bed, he immediately fell asleep. The next afternoon, Scotty awoke, feeling himself again. In other words, timid. For several weeks now, he had been a creature bent on mere survival. He had been driven to exhaustion, attacked by several jungle beasts, starved, nearly drowned, and forced into discussions of ancient Aldmeri poetical works. The discussion he had with Eurus and Bast about how to dupe the Sylvanar into signing their contracts seemed perfectly reasonable then. Scotty dressed himself in his old battered clothes and went downstairs in search of food and a peaceful place to think. "You're up!" cried Bast upon seeing him. "We should go to the palace now." "Now?" whined Scotty. "Look at me! I need new clothes. This isn't the way one should dress to pay a call on a prostitute, let alone the voice of the people of Valenwood. I haven't even bathed." "You must cease from this moment forward being a clerk and become a student of mercantile trade," said Leodis Duras grandly, taking Scotty by the arm and leading him into the sunlit boulevard outside. "The first rule is to recognize what you represent to the prospective client and what angle best suits you. You cannot dazzle him with opulent fashion and professional bearing, my dear boy, and it would be fatal if you attempted to. Trust me on this. Several others besides Bast and I are guests at the palace, and they have made the error of appearing too eager, too formal, too ready for business. They will never be granted audience with the Sylvanar, but we have remained aloof ever since the initial rejection. I've dallied about the court, spread my knowledge of life in the imperial city, had my ears pierced, attended promenades, eaten and drunk of all that was given to me. I dare say I've put on a pound or two. The message we've sent is clear. It is in his, not our, best interest to meet." "Our plan worked," added Bast. "When I told his minister that our imperial representative had arrived, and that we were at last willing to meet with the Sylvanar this morning, we were told to bring you there straight away." "Aren't we late, then?" asked Scotty. "Very. laughed Juris. "But that's again part of the angle we're representing. Benevolent disinterest. Remember not to confuse the Sylvanar with conventional nobility. His is the mind of the common people. When you grasp that, you'll understand how to manipulate him." Juris spent the last several minutes of the walk through the city expounding on his theories about what Valenwood needed, how much, and at what price. They were staggering figures, far more construction and far higher costs than anything Scotty had been used to dealing with. He listened carefully. All around them, the city of Sylvanar revealed itself, glass and flower, roaring winds and beautiful inertia. When they reached the palace of the Sylvanar, Decimus Scotty stopped, stunned. Juris looked at him for a moment and then laughed. It's quite bizarre, isn't it? That it was. A frozen scarlet burst of twisted, uneven spires, as if a rival sun rising. A blossom the size of a village, where courtiers and servants resembled nothing so much as insects, walked about it, sucking its ichor. Entering over a bent petal-like bridge, the three walked through the palace of unbalanced walls. Where the partitions bent close together and touched, there was a shaded hall or a small chamber. Where they warped away from one another, there was a courtyard. There were no doors anywhere, no any way to get to the Sylvanar, but by crossing through the entire spiral of the palace, through meetings and bedrooms and dining halls, past dignitaries, consorts, musicians, and many guards. "It's an interesting place," said Bast, "but not very much privacy. Of course that suits the Sylvanar well." When they reached the inner corridors, 2 hours after they first entered the palace, guards, brandishing blades and bows, stopped them. "We have an audience with the Sylvanar," said Juris patiently. "This is Lord Decimus Scotty, the imperial representative." One of the guards disappeared down the winding corridor and returned moments later with a tall, proud Bosmer, clad in a loose robe of patchwork leather. He was the Minister of Trade. "The Sylvanar wishes to speak with Lord Decimus Scotty alone." It was not the place to argue or show fear, so Scotty stepped forward, not even looking toward Juris and Bast. He was certain they were showing their masks of benevolent indifference. Following the minister into the audience chamber, Scotty recited to himself all the facts and figures Juris had presented to him. He willed himself to remember the angle and the image he must project. The audience chamber of the Sylvanar was an enormous dome where the walls bent from bowl-shaped at the base inward to almost meet at the top. A thin ray of sunlight streamed through the fissure hundreds of feet above and directly upon the Sylvanar, who stood upon a puff of shimmering grey powder. For all the wonder of the city and the palace, the Sylvanar himself looked perfectly ordinary. An average, blandly handsome, slightly tired-looking, extraordinary wood-elf of the type one might see in any capital in the Empire. It was only when he stepped from the dais that Scotty noticed an eccentricity in his appearance. He was very short. "I had to speak with you alone," said the Sylvanar, in a voice common and unrefined. "May I see your papers?" Scotty handed him the blank contracts from Lord Vanek's building commission. The Sylvanar studied them, running his finger over the embossed seal of the Emperor before handing them back. He suddenly seemed shy, looking to the floor. "There are many charlatans at my court who wish to benefit from the wars. I thought you and your colleagues were among them, but those contracts are genuine." "Yes, they are," said Scotty, calmly. The Sylvanar's conventional aspect made it easy for Scotty to speak, with no formal greetings, no deference, exactly as Juris had instructed. It seems most sensible to begin straight away talking about the roads which need to be rebuilt, and then the harbours that the Altmeri have destroyed. And then I can give you my estimates on the cost of resupplying and renovating the trade routes. Why hasn't the Emperor seen fit to send a representative when the war with Elsewhere began 2 years ago? Asked the Sylvanar glumly. Scotty thought a moment before replying of all the common Bosmeri he had met in Valenwood. The greedy, frightened mercenaries who had escorted him from the border, the hard-drinking revellers and expert pest-exterminating archers in the western cross of Falinesti, nosy old Mother Pascost in Havel's slump, Captain Balfix, the poor, sadly reformed pirate. The terrified but hopeful refugees of Athe and Grenos, the mad, murderous, self-devouring wild hunt of Vindisi, the silent, dour boatman hired by Griff Mallon, the degenerate, grasping Bast. If one creature represented their total disposition, and that of many more throughout the province, what would be his personality? Scotty was a clerk by occupation and nature, instinctively comfortable cataloguing and filing, making things fit in a system. If the soul of Valenwood were to be filed, where would it be put? The answer came upon him almost before he posed himself the question. Denial. "I'm afraid that question doesn't interest me," said Scotty. "Now can we get back to the business at hand?" All afternoon, Scotty and the Sylvanar discussed the pressing needs of Valenwood. Every contract was filled and signed. So much was required, and there were so many costs associated that addendums and codicils had to be scribbled into the margins of the papers, and those had to be resigned. Scotty maintained his benevolent indifference, but he found that dealing with the Sylvanar was not quite the same as dealing with a simple, sullen child. The voice of the people knew certain practical, everyday things very well, the yields of fish, the benefits of trade, the condition of every township and forest in his province. "We will have a banquet tomorrow night to celebrate this commission," said the Sylvanar at last. "Best make it tonight," replied Scotty. "We should leave for Cyrodiil with the contracts tomorrow, so I'll need a safe passage to the border. We best not waste any more time." "Agreed," said the Sylvanar, and called for his Minister of Trade to put his seal on the contracts and arrange for the feast. Scotty left the chamber and was greeted by Bast and Eurus. Their faces showed the strain of maintaining the illusion of unconcern for too many hours. As soon as they were out of sight of the guards, they begged Scotty to tell them all. When he showed them the contract, Bast began weeping with delight. "Anything about the Sylvanar that surprised you?" asked Eurus. "I hadn't expected him to be half my height." "Was he?" Eurus looked mildly surprised. "He must have shrunk since I tried to have an audience with him earlier. Maybe there is something to all that nonsense about him being affected by the plight of his people." Era 397. The banquet at the palace of the Sylvanar was well attended by every jealous bureaucrat and trader who had attempted to contract the rebuilding of Valenwood. They looked on Decimus Scotty, Leodis Eurus, and Bast with undisguised hatred. It made Scotty very uncomfortable, but Eurus delighted in it. As the servants brought in platter after platter of roasted meats, Eurus poured himself a cup of Jagger and toasted the clerk. "I can confess it now," said Eurus. "I had grave doubts about inviting you to join me on this adventure. All the other clerks and agents of building commissions I contacted were more outwardly aggressive, but none of them made it through, let alone to the audience chamber of the Sylvanar, let alone brokered the deals on their own like you did. Come, have a cup of Jagger with me." "No, thank you," said Scotty. "I had too much of that drug in Falinesti, and nearly got sucked dry by a giant tick because of it. I'll find something else to drink." Scotty wandered about the hall until he saw some diplomats drinking mugs of a steaming brown liquid poured from a large silver urn. He asked them if it was tea. "Tea made from leaves?" scoffed the first diplomat. "Not in Valenwood. This is Rotmeth." Scotty poured himself a mug and took a tentative sip. It was gamey, bitter and sugared and very salty. At first it seemed very disagreeable to his palate, but a moment later he found he had drained the mug and was pouring another. His body tingled. All the sounds in the chamber seemed oddly disjointed, but not frighteningly so. "So you're the fellow who got the Sylvanar to sign all those contracts," said the second diplomat. "That must have required some deep negotiation." "Not at all, not at all. Just a little basic understand of mercantile trading," grinned Scotty, pouring himself a third mug of Rotmeth. The Sylvanar was very eager to involve the imperial state with the affairs of Valenwood. I was very eager to take a percentage of the commission. With all that blessed eagerness, it was merely a matter of putting Quill to contract, bless you. "You have been in the employ of His Imperial Majesty very long?" asked the first diplomat. "It's a bite, or rather, a bit more complicated than that in the Imperial City. Between you and me, I don't really have a job. I used to work for Lord Atreus and his building commission, but I got sacked. And then the contracts are from Lord Vanek and his building commission, because I got 'em from this fellow Reglius, who is a competitor, but still a very fine fellow, until he was made dead by those Khajiiti." Scotty drained his 5th mug. "When I go back to the Imperial City, then the real negotiations can begin, bless you. I can go to my old employer and to Lord Vanek and say, 'Look here, you, which one of you wants these commissions?' And they'll fall over each other to take them from me. It will be bidding war for my percentage, the likes of which no one nowhere has never seen." "So you're not a representative of His Imperial Majesty the Emperor?" asked the first diplomat. "Didn't you hear what I said? You stupid." Scotty felt a surge of rage, which quickly subsided. He chuckled and poured himself a 7th mug. "The building commissions are privately owned, but they're still representatives of the Emperor. So I am a representative of the Emperor, or I will be, when I get these contracts in. It's very complicated. I can understand why you're not following me. Bless you. It's all like the poet said, a dance in fire, if you follow the illusion, that is to say, illusion." "And your colleagues, are they representatives of the Emperor?" asked the second diplomat. Scotty burst into laughter, shaking his head. The diplomats bade him their respects and went to talk to the minister. Scotty stumbled out of the palace and reeled through the strange organic avenues and boulevards of the city. It took him several hours to find his way to Prithala Hall and his room. Once there, he slept very nearly on his bed. The next morning he woke to Juris and Bast in his room, shaking him. He felt half asleep and unable to open his eyes fully, but otherwise fine. The conversation with the diplomats floated in his mind in a haze, like an obscure childhood memory. "What in Mara's name is Rotmeth?" he asked quickly. "Rancid, strongly fermented meat juices with lots of spices to kill the poisons," smiled Bast. "I should have warned you to stay with Jagger." "You must understand the meat mandate by now," laughed Juris. "These Bosmeri would rather eat each other than touch the fruit of the vine or the field." "What did I say to those diplomats?" cried Scotty, panicking. "Nothing bad, apparently," said Juris, pulling out some papers. "Your escorts are downstairs to bring you to the Imperial Province. Here are your papers of safe passage. The Sylvanar seems very impatient about business proceeding forward rapidly. He promises to send you some sort of rare treasure when the contracts are fulfilled. See, he's already given me something." Juris showed off his new bejewelled earring, a beautiful, large, faceted ruby. Bast showed that he had a similar one. The two fat fellows left the room so Scotty could dress and pack. A full regiment of the Sylvanar's guards was on the street in front of the tavern. They surrounded a carriage crested with the official arms of Valenwood. Still dazed, Scotty climbed in, and the captain of the guard gave the signal. They began a quick gallop. Scotty shook himself and then peered behind. Bast and Juris were waving him goodbye. "Wait!" Scotty cried. "Aren't you coming back to the Imperial Province too?" "The Sylvanar asked that we stay behind as Imperial representatives," yelled Leodis Juris, "in case there's a need for more contracts and negotiations. He's appointed us undrape, some sort of special honor for foreigners at court. Don't worry, lots of banquets to attend. You can handle the negotiations with Vanek and Atreus yourself, and we'll keep things settled here." Juris continued to yell advice about business, but his voice became indistinct with distance. Soon it disappeared altogether as the convoy rounded the streets of Sylvanar. The jungle loomed suddenly, and then they were in it. Scotty had only gone through it by foot or along the rivers by slow-moving boats. Now it flashed all around him in profusions of greens. The horses seemed even faster moving through underbrush than on the smooth paths of the city. None of the weird sounds or dank smells of the jungle penetrated the escort. It felt to Scotty as if he were watching a play about the jungle with a background of a quickly moving scrim which offered only the merest suggestion of the place. So it went for 2 weeks. There was lots of food and water in the carriage with the clerk, so he merely ate and slept as the caravan pressed endlessly on. From time to time he'd hear the sound of blades clashing, but when he looked around, whatever had attacked the caravan had long since been left behind. At last they reached the border, where an imperial garrison was stationed. Scotty presented the soldiers who met the carriage with the papers. They asked him a barrage of questions that he answered monosyllabically, and then let him pass. It took several more days to arrive at the gates of the imperial city. The horses that had flown so fast through the jungle now slowed down in the unfamiliar territory of the wooded Colovian estates. By contrast, the cries of his province's birds and smells of his province's plant life brought Decimus Scotty alive. It was as if he had been dreaming all the past months. At the gates of the city, Scotty's carriage door was opened for him, and he stepped out on uncertain legs. Before he had a moment to say something to the escort, they had vanished, galloping back south through the forest. The first thing he did now that he was home was go to the closest tavern and have tea and fruit and bread. If he never ate meat again, he told himself, that would suit him very nicely. Negotiations with Lord Atreus and Lord Vanek proceeded immediately thereafter. It was most agreeable. Both commissions recognized how lucrative the rebuilding of Valenwood would be for their agency. Lord Vanek claimed, quite justifiably, that as the contracts had been written on forms notarized by his commission, he had the legal right to them. Lord Atreus claimed that Decimus Scotty was his agent and representative, and that he had never been released from employment. The Emperor was called to arbitrate, but he claimed to be unavailable. His adviser, the imperial battle mage Jaga Tharn, had disappeared long ago and could not be called on for his wisdom and impartial mediation. Scotty lived very comfortably off the bribes from Lord Atreus and Lord Vanek. Every week a letter would arrive from Juras or Bast asking about the status of negotiations. Gradually these letters ceased coming, and more urgent ones came from the Minister of Trade and the Sylvanar himself. The War of the Blue Divide with Somerset Isle ended with the Altmeri winning several new coastal islands from the Wood Elves. The war with Elsewhere continued, ravaging the eastern borders of Valenwood. Still, Vanek and Atreus fought over who would help. One fine morning in the early spring of the year Third Era, 398, a courier arrived at Decimus Scotty's door. "Lord Vanek has won the Valenwood Commission and requests that you and the contracts come to his hall at your earliest convenience." "Has Lord Atreus decided not to challenge further?" asked Scotty. "He's been unable to, having died very suddenly just now from a terribly unfortunate accident," said the courier. Scotty had wondered how long it would be before the Dark Brotherhood was brought in for final negotiations. As he walked toward Lord Vanek's building commission, a long, severe piece of architecture on a minor but respectable plaza, he wondered if he had played the game, as he ought to have. Could Vanek be so rapacious as to offer him a lower percentage of the commission now that his chief competitor was dead? Thankfully, he discovered, Lord Vanek had already decided to pay Scotty what he had proposed during the heat of the winter negotiations. His advisers had explained to him that other, lesser building commissions might come forward unless the matter were handled quickly and fairly. "Glad we have all the legal issues done with," said Lord Vanek fondly. "Now we can get to the business of helping the poor Bosmeri and collecting the profits. It's a pity you weren't our representative for all the troubles with Bendermark and the Arnesian business, but there will be plenty more wars, I'm sure of that." Scotty and Lord Vanek sent word to the Sylvanar that at last they were prepared to honour the contracts. A few weeks later they held a banquet in honour of the profitable enterprise. Decimus Scotty was the darling of the imperial city, and no expense was spared to make it an unforgettable evening. As Scotty met the nobles and wealthy merchants who would be benefiting from his business dealings, an exotic but somehow faintly familiar smell rose in the ballroom. He traced it to its source, a thick, roasted slab of meat so long and thick it covered several platters. The cyrodiilic revellers were eating it ravenously, unable to find the words to express their delight at its taste and texture. It's like nothing I've ever had before. It's like pig-fed venison. Do you see the marbling of fat and meat? It's a masterpiece. Scotty went to take a slice, but then he saw something embedded deep in the dried and rendered roast. He nearly collided with his new employer, Lord Vanek, as he stumbled back. "Where did this come from?" Scotty stammered. "From our client, the Sylvanar," beamed his lordship. "It's some kind of local delicacy they call unthrappa." Scotty vomited, and didn't stop for some time. It cast rather a temporary pall on the evening, but when Decimus Scotty was carried off to his manor house, the guests continued to dine. The unthrappa was the delight of all, even more so when Lord Vanek himself took a slice and found the first of 2 rubies buried within. How very clever of the Bosmer to invent such a dish, the Cyrodiils agreed.
If she hadn't really decided to very much be a vegetarian before, she really is now. Ugh. Good morning, honey. Anthrapa. Yep, she almost throws up her mushrooms.